All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the alt-left and the problems that they're creating for the Democratic Party. Now, in full disclosure, first and foremost, because this is being parroted right now by the media, I am aware of the fact that the initial use of the term abolish ICE has to do with abolishing detention facilities and the concept of detaining, immigrant children. I'm aware of that, but the thing is, sometimes words can be difficult to manage, and they can slip their reins and begin to mean something else to other groups. Like, you think of fake news. CNN and MSNBC start flinging that term around to denote the alt media. Oh, these fake news sites, Trump's people, they spew out lies. Very quickly, people realized, hey, the term actually more ably applies to CNN and MSNBC and groups like that. The groups that spawned the term and began trying to weaponize it are actually the ones that fall under that moniker, to the point where now they're begging people to stop saying fake news. Sort of like when they make up any other newspeak term. Well, linguistics are an interesting thing. You can control people's minds. Mind control isn't just a superpower, it's a very real phenomenon. It's done every single fucking day. But now, abolish ICE has come to mean a more literal thing to certain groups within the Democratic Party. If you listen to like Maxine Waters, when she uses that term, she appears to be denoting she wants to actually get rid of the agency altogether. In other words, you have people, they're going after Bernie Sanders for saying that he doesn't want to abolish ICE. Oh, basically he's not far left enough. Bernie Sanders is a right-winger now, according to these people. This is why the Democratic Party has become a self-satire at this point. This is why you have hashtag walk away. This is why they're no longer favored to win back the Senate. This is why I look forward to 2020 and them getting curb stomped, essentially. Some of these people, it is a minority within the Democratic Party, but this very vocal young minority of maybe 15 or 20% of the party, the actual far left, are a mockery of everything. They don't understand how the world works, and they are literally now scrambling to try to create a borderless society. They're also, in the process, definitely helping Trump, because he can take pictures of what they've said and slap them on campaign ads. Oh, yeah, the left's, here we have Nancy Pelosi proclaiming that she wants to enforce immigration, but here we get a bunch of other people saying they don't. And the Democratic Party has no consensus on this. The Republican Party, their views on immigration range essentially from close the borders entirely to reform the system. But there are no calls within the Republican Party for anything more strange than that. On the Democratic side, though, you've got everything from people like Pelosi and Schumer now being called sellouts by Maxine Waters, essentially. No, these people, they don't represent minorities, they're sellouts and they hate children too, and they've been running the party into the ground forever, which is, kind of true, but Maxine Waters is nuts. Everything from that to at least a minority of the party saying, yeah, we do want open borders. We do want a borderless society. Just to reiterate, this is not a call for immigration reform. This isn't a call to reduce ICE's budget or to reduce the number of agents or to scale back their ability to conduct raids or deport people. This isn't an argument for reform that would itself be leftist in nature. It would already be far left if we were to engage in those things. This is a call to eradicate the border entirely and essentially dissolve the United States. If you do not have the border, you might as well dissolve as a political entity or become imperialists and you remove the border because you conquered your neighbor. Those are the only other options, really. A globalized society inevitably falls either under the heading of imperialism or under the heading of communism. Those are the only ways in which its ultimate form can appear, because those are the only true ways to eradicate those borders. They're also both totalitarian and abusive in nature, so we got to keep that in mind, I think, as we go forward as a country. Are we going to have one at all? But these are literal extremists. I mean, the term extremism is thrown around at people who are like, yeah, I think there should be free speech online. Meanwhile, we've got people who are literally claiming that they want to eradicate the notion of a United States altogether. Then somehow they're not extremist. This is not an extreme view. This is at least a large minority of the Democratic Party saying this. Meanwhile, you look at national polling. Even most Democrats want to have borders, deport illegals, have the rule of law. The Democrats they're really losing on this issue. I'm telling you, the neoliberals are getting really, really upset. I can tell you, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all of these, they may not say it to your face, They may not come out on TV and say, well, we're worried about the midterms in 2020. Trust me, they're sweating bullets. Because they threw up immigration as a Hail Mary pass at the 11th hour to try to salvage an increasingly dire situation for them in the Senate. Because they don't want Trump to be able to steamroll them for the next 2 Supreme Court justices he's likely to get over the next couple years, even if he didn't get reelected. He's likely to get 1 or 2 more justices in his first term, and possibly a 5th or even 6th if he gets reelected. They don't want the Republicans controlling the Senate at such a time as that. They're fucking terrified. They're terrified that Trump will get 3 or 4 more senators in there that will largely softball him because they'll see him as a symbol of strength, gluing the Republican Party together. So they put up immigration, and they showed us all pictures of crying children that weren't even being detained and weren't even from Mexico and had nothing to do with the immigration crisis. And they got caught up. Chuck Schumer obstructed. That was a bad idea. Maxine Waters decided she wanted to grandstand, and Pelosi and Schumer must have been like, oh my God, could you pick a different time to do this? Like, after November? I guarantee they're pissed off at her. They probably went out privately. Here's probably what happened. They probably in private, they took her aside and said, what the fuck are you doing? You're nuts. And she said, screw you. Basically, nobody has faith in you, your party leadership anyway. You shook hands with Trump, so, then fuck you, basically. I'm going to have a youth revolution. Maxine Waters wants to eliminate the border is the same person who wants to harass Trump admin officials and punch the Nazis or whatever. Literally a violent individual, literally unhinged. Yeah, the moniker does work. You don't need this, Republican propaganda to drive the point home that is unhinged. The way in which the alt-left has acted for years now is unhinged. And I think it's beginning to piss off the neoliberals, because what's happened in the wake of all this is I think that centrist leftists, I think people who are yeah, I tend to vote Democrat, but, I'm just center-left. I'm more independent, but, they tend to have better ideas. Are they going to still think that after this? No, I think that they're going to vote Republican. And I think that's what Schumer's worried about. And I think if we look at the RCP, sort of the generic ballot over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a swing in the Republicans' direction. They might even get closer. They might even exceed the Democrats for the first time in several years, essentially. That's what I think could happen. So I think that the neoliberals are very nervous. The far left has also managed to gain, a few sort of primary victories, although they tend to be in out there races or races that are in far blue places, like ocasio-cortez there. It's a far blue area, so a socialist can win. Can a socialist win against a Democratic incumbent who's basically a blue dog in some red state? Probably not. It's probably not going to happen. I think that the so-called progressive upswing we're seeing right now, the millennial socialism, I think it's a fluke. I think that this is just a temporary phase within the paradigm. That will end up collapsing the neoliberal paradigm, but it won't be at the head of the new Democratic Party. It's simply the Democrats are more likely to become a business populist, like a workers' movement or something, which, by the way, might be worth voting for some people who right now couldn't even vote for them holding their nose. You have people. Think about it, millions of people within the Democratic Party. Now, the Democrats have sworn up and down. It's like with guns. They said, we don't want to take your guns. We just want common sense reform. Well, they're telling us the same thing on immigration, yet there are millions of people that they solicit the votes of, take money from, and who are included and even represented to some degree within their party, who do want open borders, who do want disarmament, who do want literal socialism. Some of them want to abolish the concept that we're a republic and go to a direct democratic system by eliminating the Electoral College. I don't think that that's a great idea, but, whatever. I guess it is what it is. The one good idea the far left has is completely ending the drug war and legalizing psychedelics and heroin and stuff so addicts can get treatment. Although I think most of them want to legalize it just so that they can use their dope on the street openly and not get in trouble for it. Maybe because they just don't like police. These are the sort of people who are like, oh yeah, get rid of the police entirely. Yeah, we'll just have like anarcho-vigilantism. Antifa will be the police now. I'm sure you would love such a country. Everyone on the far left thinks they'll be a big party member. Like they'll be the commissar in their province or something if there's a communist revolution. They won't be working in a quarry or on a collective farm, working 20 hours a day and having to inflate their grain totals and steal from their neighbors. That won't happen to them. They'll be someone wealthy. They'll have the good vodka. Yeah, I don't think so. It's not the way that the world works. 99% of you will be fucking slaves. But then again, that works under neoliberalism too, so I can understand the anger there. That's about all. Peace out.